yeah, I'm enjoying this. Like I say, it takes what was good about the petrol car, fixes a few bits, and yeah, it's just a good car. Why wouldn't you want one? Why wouldn't you enjoy this? Does the job perfectly. Right, hello everybody, you join me in an MG ZS EV. Now this is another little quick first impressions test drive from my SMMT test drive day. Basically that's the manufacturers sort of all turn up with a load of cars and us like journalists can drive them. So yeah, this is only going to be a short little first impressions video. I'm hoping, because I've driven the normal MG ZS, I can give you a couple of little insights as to what this car is like. Now I'm going to have to apologise for this weather, it is absolutely horrendous and I'm hoping it doesn't ruin this video completely. So just a quick throwback then to my previous MG ZS video. That was on the 1 litre petrol which had a 6-speed automatic gearbox. Now I like that car in sort of overall. I thought it was a good little car for getting about with your family, you know, did everything that you want a car to do, which is good, you know, plenty of space, good value for money, etc, etc. There were however a few little niggles and I'm kind of hoping that the MG ZS EV fixes those niggles. So what was the first niggle? Well, the interior plastics weren't my favourite. Now obviously some of this hasn't been addressed because you can't really go and change the doors just because some people say they don't like the trim. God, this is very wet. But this area here, I'm glad to report, is vastly different to it was in the car I drove, and it is a much nicer place to sit because of that. So you've got a whole new centre armrest and it just looks a million times better. You've also got a swivel dial to change your gear, and you've also got a completely revised infotainment system. This one also has Android Auto, which the petrol version didn't have. Now, the other issue that I had with the sort of petrol version was that the automatic gearbox, I thought it was a little bit slow to respond a lot of the time. Obviously for around town it was fine. When you're on a country road, sort of asking for a bit more from the gearbox, it was very slow to respond. Now I'm glad to say this car resolves that issue, and that's because this car is electric, so it doesn't have to change gear. Yes, this car doesn't have that issue, so overall I'd say this is a massive improvement over the petrol car. Wow, this is a lot of water, Jesus. Okay, if anybody's anxious about getting an electric car because of water, I am hopefully putting that to the test for you now. And you put your foot down, it's silent, and you get quite a lot of go. Yeah, that's addictive. I just wish the conditions were slightly better so I could demonstrate it a bit more. Now you've also got regen braking in here. So there's a couple of levels to that. I believe if I push this forward, there you go, regen level 2, regen level 3 or heavy. So if I now let off, that's not me braking, the car is slowing itself down without me touching the pedal. And it's going to bring me to pretty much a complete stop, I think. That would take some getting used to. Regen 1 is what I'm driving in because I've come out of cars which are petrol powered and they don't have very sensitive brakes compared to this, so I don't want to go through the windscreen. Yeah, regen braking, and that will help your sort of efficiency. What else can I comment on? Well, to drive, it's pretty much the steering feels as direct as it did in the petrol one. Yeah, still a nice car to drive for what it is. Like I say, I'm glad the electric version has sort of fixed some of the issues that I had with the petrol version. And you've still got all of that space in the back. The boot hasn't been negatively impacted from the addition of some batteries. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. This is a nice little car. And also, it is my first time driving an electric car. And I have to say, it makes an automatic sort of little runabout even more easy to use. And what's not good about that? You want your little runabout to be very easy to use, and this now being electric means it's even easier. Put your foot to the floor. Oh yeah, there's some actual performance here as well. Yeah, big fan. My first electric experience, I am enjoying it. This weather, however, I'm not enjoying. Let's pull out of here. Let's go this way, shall we? Give it a stab. Oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. So the MG ZS, the petrol one I drove, it was okay. The 0 to 60 sort of time was okay. This has obviously improved that no end because you've now got instantaneous torque. Is this person going to pull out? Go on, lad. Yeah, you've got instant torque, which means your acceleration is quicker. So here's an idea of the maximum regen. 25 miles an hour. Okay, now we're slowing right down to a stop. Let's see if it does go to a complete stop. No, it doesn't take you to a complete stop. It'll take you to about 5 miles an hour. So I've not touched the brake there at all. Cool. If you're into that sort of thing, there you go. You can pretty much drive this with one pedal. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Like I say, it takes what was good about the petrol car, fixes a few bits, and yeah, it's just a good car. Why wouldn't you want one? Why wouldn't you enjoy this? does the job perfectly. If you haven't seen my petrol video, I will link it below or above somewhere, because obviously this is only a very short test drive, so I'm not giving you the best sort of overarching impression of the car. Right, talking of my previous video, here are some clips I have of the normal ZS to keep you entertained whilst I go over some details of the EV. So as I've hinted at, the EV gets more tech than the petrol version, and I was glad to learn that this goes beyond the introduction of Android Auto. And that is because the EV comes with MG Pilot, which is a suite of driver assistance technology. To name but a few highlights, that means the ZS EV comes with advanced emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control. But what about the battery? Well, the 44.5 kWh pack is good for a WLTP certified range of 163 miles. It also delivers 143 horsepower and 353 Nm of torque, and that means you have a rather respectable 0 to 62 mph time of 8.5 seconds. And with all that being said, it's time to go back to me to take a look at the interior. Right, as with all of the videos from today, it's all a little bit amateur because I don't have time with the cars to set it up properly, but this is what the interior of the electric ZS looks like. So you might remember me talking about this bit here being different. Well, it is sort of completely different. This here wasn't in the petrol version, and I think it's much better for having it. Just makes it feel like a much more premium place to sit. This screen is also slightly different. I believe the pressman said it's got a slightly different sort of back end to it as well, so it might be a bit more responsive than the other car. We've also got Android Auto, which wasn't on the petrol version. What else have we got in the middle? I think we've got a cup holder in there. Yeah, the rest of it though is pretty much business as usual for the ZS. So if you haven't watched my other review, please do, and I'll go a bit more in depth about the interior. Obviously this weather isn't particularly conducive to filming. Now this is a different bit. You've got a sort of electric only gauge there, which isn't in the petrol car, obviously. If I change this, and I'll take my seatbelt off so it's unhappy with me. There you go, there's our range. Then we've got some other bits and pieces in here which I don't really know how to get to. Yeah, cool. So this bit here, obviously under normal driving it tends to sort of stay below 40%. You give it a boot full and you end up in the boost section, and this thing does move. So yeah, that's the interior of the MG ZS EV. A quick look at the outside, and I apologise if it's not ideal. It is still absolutely chucking it down. So as you can see, pretty much business as usual out here. It's the same RS5 going up there, casual. Pretty much the same as the usual ZS, bar the EV badge. Yeah, not the biggest fan of SUVs in general, but this does a good job of being an SUV, so therefore you just got to kind of accept it for what it is. Now this rain is hideous, so I am going to say goodbye, and I'll see you soon. So yeah, like I say, these test drives from this sort of press day aren't the most in-depth. I only have the car for a very short amount of time, so I can only apologise about the lack of detail. I hope you enjoyed regardless. I hope it's given you a bit of an insight as to what the electric version's like compared to the petrol version. I've been Blee, thank you for watching, and please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Oh, boot full in sport mode, that gets you moving.